For years, we were known as Central Veterinary Associates, and we know that some of you were not exactly thrilled with the services that were provided.
But a new day has arrived. We're changing and will now be known as Premier Veterinary Medical Group.
But it's much more than a name change. It's a new management team, a new attitude, with a new state-of-the-art modern facility in Rockville Center, New York.
We're going all out to provide the best possible care for your pets. And that includes 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week emergency care from a team of highly trained professional emergency care veterinarians.
So check out the all-new Premier Veterinary Medical Group. We're ready to serve Nassau and Queens counties with compassion, commitment, and the utmost confidence.
And we have immediate openings for overnight emergency vets with great pay and outstanding benefits. Contact us today at premierveterinarymedicalgroup.com/careers.
Thank God they didn't make him. Thank God they didn't make you a full horseman. That would have been terrible.
No, I wouldn't have. That wouldn't have fit the narrative.
So here's something I heard on Jim Cornette's podcast. You know, he's talking about when you first started off, right? You're hitting the gas. You're super huge, right? You know, you never broke kayfabe with the boys, and you didn't cash a check from the organization for 1 year.
So what's the question?
What?
Were you really were you really that into it, man? You're that into it, huh?
Like, supposedly, like, Arn Anderson would be like, you with the boys, and you were like, and then your mother, I guess, worked at the bank.
What?
Yeah. And
I don't know about this.
No, she didn't work at the bank.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So what's the story?
He's smiling. I wonder where this goes.
I mean, the numbers are all over the map as far as the length of time without cashing a check.
Okay.
What the CPA for Jim Crockett came to me. I wasn't even
The car parking attendant? We're still looking for our cars?
Huh?
Oh, the CPA. Oh, the certified. I thought you said car parking attendant. Never mind. I thought we were still looking for our car.
So my mindset was business. Like
Okay.
when I broke in, it was about business for me. I from day one, I'm a business guy.
Right.
So my approach was business mindset. Hence, I hired a business manager. I think one of the very first guys to ever do that.
Okay.
And one of my best friends, Tim Peltier. So I hired Tim, and I said, "Hey Tim," I said, "Man, everything's coming to you. My checks. Well, I'll give you a little backstory, but my checks." You're going to pay my rent. You're going to pay my electric, my phone. You're going to pay my gas. Any bills I got, they're all coming to you. You're going to take care of everything. I'm going to focus on wrestling and building the story and building my character and all of that. And so started studying the Russian language a little bit to put a few phrases together. Learned to sign my name in Russian. And I thought, if I'm going to get this character over, I'm not going to talk to anybody in the dressing room, outside the dressing room, unless I absolutely have to talk to somebody. In fact, it was Mark Merrill told me a story just a while back when he first came into the NWA territory. The Johnny B. Bad, he was wrestling with us. He goes, "Dude," he's like, "I got to tell you," he goes, "I've never told you this, but when we first came in," he goes, "first of all, half of us were scared to death of you. We're like, that guy could like rip your head off." He goes, "and then you're talking in character in the dressing rooms, and we're like looking at each other, whispering, going, does he know we're like smart to the business? Does he know what?"
I thought you were nuts.
In fact, I know you guys had Demolition on.
That's right. Crusher Khrushchev.
Crusher Khrushchev. But before he was Crusher, he was out in Louisiana with Nikolai Volkov.
Uh-huh.
And so when we brought him up to the Carolinas to become Crusher Khrushchev, he's like, "Dude, he goes, I should have known." He goes, we heard in Louisiana that they had to shoot Russian up in the Carolinas, and we're like, "Oh wow, that's amazing." And I come find out it's you, and I'm like, why didn't I know that? Why? Because I'm just that guy. If I'm going to do something, I'm all in. I'm 100% in, right? I'm not going to do anything half baked. So I'm focused on wrestling, and I think at the time they paid us weekly, I think. And so I'd get my check, and there was really no urgency. I'm a what my sister would call a very frugal guy, and so I would spend what I'd need to spend in order to eat and live and that sort of thing, and so I had money in my pocket, so I didn't see any need to cash a check, so I just throw it in my closet shelf. And then at one point, Dave was the guy's name. The CPA came to me at one point, and I don't even know how long it was, but the bottom line was, he says, cash your checks. I go, Dave, what are you talking about? He goes, cash your checks. You're screwing up my accounting, all my bookkeeping and everything. I go, how am I doing it? He goes, because you haven't cashed your checks. Cash your checks. So, and I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I had a year's worth, 2 years worth, 6 months worth.
Wow. I don't need to cash this.
I don't know.
How you do that?
But it was enough. I had enough uncashed checks to screw up his books. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
And then it was fast forward. At that point, I just had everything sent to Tim, and Tim just handled everything.
Were you playing?
And I got an allowance.
Were you, besides in the locker room where they clearly thought you were batshit crazy talking in the Russian, were you doing this on the streets too? To you go through a drive-through and do an MJF? I said a number 2, you stupid! Well, I can't do the Russian. I wish you would. But were you taking it that far?
Once I developed the accent, je t'aime.
Give me that. What was that? I just almost heard it.
Once I developed the accent.
He teased me. Go on. That's not right. Anyway.
You always leave them hanging, wanting more.
That was just a little whisker hair. Go on. Anyway.
Once I developed the accent.
And by the way, folks, he's been asking for this accent for the last
all day. The guy won't give it to me.
He wanted the car at the event
all day. Yeah, would you do the Russian accent? Would you do the Russian? You make me sound like such a. I was doing
YouTube.
That, folks. Anyway.
YouTube.
Dear God.
Once I developed the accent.
Okay.
Once I actually learned English.
Okay.
It started speaking. Again. I made the decision that I was going to live it anywhere in public. So anywhere in public would mean
anywhere in public.
Grocery store, it would mean a movie theater, it would mean a restaurant, an airplane. It would mean being pulled over by the cops. In fact,
oh my God, what?
I was telling this story the other day.
What is he doing?
So I screen test for Rocky 4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's in here somewhere.
That's in
Go
there.
on.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, nice.
So it's Dolph Lundgren and I out on the set with Stallone.
And Kerry Von Erich, yeah?
Yeah. It was between Dolph and Nikita. Kerry.
Yeah, I'm not seeing
Kerry's first question to me was, are there some lines we're supposed to like? I'm like,
dude, you will lose. Cut. That's terrible.
No, that was like, well, the odds of me getting this role just went up from 33% to 50%.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
I think
for
higher.
sure.
Well, yeah, that's true.
50-50
Dolph
now.
was still in a damn room. Yeah,
Kerry,
go on.
Kerry, thank you for not knowing your lines. You increased my odds at this point. Here's the point. With Sylvester Stallone or anyone else on that set, limousine drivers, I never broke character, even for the screen test.
Wow.
I just stayed in Nikita Kolloff character for the screen test, including conversations with Stallone.
Oh, boy.
Off camera.
Yo, he's nuts. Take Dolph.
All right, now,
To your question, to answer your question, I never.
Wow.
3 years after I left wrestling, I stayed in character.
All right, so wait a minute.
Ooh, you kind
You come home to your wife.
Wow.
You come home to your wife. Are you in character?
That's not public.
Huh?
Yeah, no.
That's not public.
right. He's in
Okay, so
What did I say?
at home with
Yeah.
family.
Anything in private.
In private.
Right, was good.
Anything in private. Now, when the older girls
the two
were
of you-
little,
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in character around them because I didn't want them to go to school. They're in elementary school.
Gotcha.
And kids are going to go, is your dad really Russian? And they're kids. They're going to go,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
Right,
He
right.
speaks English,
Right.
whatever. So I stayed in character for a while with them until I felt they were old enough to understand.
Then why did you stay in character with the boys then? That wasn't public, right? You're in a plane, you're all hanging out, right?
We're not always on private planes. We're on commercial planes.
Okay.
We're,
That's business, though. That's part of his character.
Yeah, but I mean, you had friends in the
and in
business.
locker rooms, it's not always just the boys. security would come in.
Gotcha.
Different people would come
Okay,
in.
yeah, sure.
So
Mopping the floor. He's in there.
and it wasn't 100% of the time. I was conscious of my surroundings.
I understand.
So, or if it was new guys that came, like Mark Merrill when he came, I'm like, I don't know how long this cat's gonna last. I don't know.
All right, we got about 3 more minutes before we go to the auction.
All right.